So somebody along the lines wallpapered this. So I'm trying to see what is underneath it just by soaking it in some water. I'm trying to very carefully. As we see, I think the lid might be green. That is some good wallpaper. Unfortunately, every time I scrape it with metal. So these are the canisters that I came across to try to reproduce. So $8, $8. These were actually in somebody's antique booth, and I'm like, oh, canisters! I've been looking for canisters. This one I got at a estate sale that was wrapped in wallpaper, and I already took the wallpaper off. But yes, they were minimal, very minimal. I was so happy when I ran across canisters. Yes, I actually picked one was an estate sale that I got the wallpaper off, you saw. And then the rest were an antique mall. They just like, I'm like, under $10 is a score, because if you look at the ones that are vintage, that are really old, if you even see them out and about, they're not cheap. Go to Etsy, go to eBay, look them up. You'll see. I did just score my first flower one at a sale, but I don't want to show you that one quite yet. So yeah, I'm going to get the price tags off. We're going to get these sanded a little bit, because you know, the paint will take better if I get them sanded a little bit, and then we'll get them washed up. Yeah, the easiest way is just hit them with a heat gun. Let that metal heat up. And then we'll just take them off. Okay, might as well show you this because I've been fixing almost every one. So there's a little lip here that they're no longer attached. So all I've been doing is pulling it up, if I can. Of course, now that I decided to film for you and show you what I was doing, it's like, oh, no, it doesn't want to. So you just unroll that. Because then the lid doesn't want to sit on very well, even though these are, I would decor, just for decor. Now my lid should fit a little bit better, hopefully. To clean these off, I'm just going to use rubbing alcohol, shop cloth. I don't want to immerse them. They've already been cleaned, but I don't want to like have water sitting in the little grooves there. At least you know rubbing alcohol dries fast. And I don't have to worry about anything sitting there wet when I go to prep this even more. And alcohol, it's surprising how easy this paint comes off, you know, the age before they really had the top coats and stuff. So alcohol also, you can use as a very light paint remover. As you see, it's just kind of taking the rest of the paint off. See? Okay, now I'm going to seal all of them and prime them with shellac to help with my paint stick. And that should seal in that old paint that wanted to come off when I was using the rubbing alcohol also, if I didn't get it off. So my choice is milk paint to paint the canisters. I don't necessarily want crackle, but it's going to be what it's going to be. So I'm looking for that same like antiquing, you know, where the white has yellowed over time. So I have the Sturbridge white, and then I have raw silk, which might be the color altogether. But I'm thinking, I don't know, I think the raw silk, I don't think I need to add that. Let's set that off to the side. I think the raw silk, now that I'm looking at it, we'll see once I get it mixed up. So this is the Homestead House. And for these, I'm going to follow, well, I don't know. This one has me stumped on how much water ratio to mix up, because it always seems like I'm just still always putting too much water in. Yeah, I think that's the color I'm looking for. Maybe. I think I'm going to go ahead. You know, I'm a player. I'm going to add, that was a tablespoon. This is a teaspoon. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons. I need more water anyway. I just don't want it to look tan. I want it to look like an aged cream. Yeah, there we go. And I think that water ratio is good for right now. Yeah, I think that's the color I want. I didn't want my paint to be too awful runny, because I don't want to, this little edge is so hard to get at. But the nice thing about milk paint is if I do touch, before I seal it in, I can get it to come off. Oh, I forgot. There was something I wanted to do. There was something I wanted to try. I wanted to try some beeswax here and there. Don't you hate when you forget and you're like, I'm that far through? It is what it is. I'm just going to take it for what it is. Just random. There's so many bumps. Yeah, I'm still trying to make these look old. It's nice that you can kind of use it as a handle, you know, a place to hold. It's nice because you can feel the shellac is gripping the paint. And the little rolled lip has been painted. That's why I didn't tape off. And I didn't want it to be too watery because I didn't want it to be runny, and it doesn't look like it is. Just looking for any spots that I should get. As I said, it's going to take multiple colors, coats. I don't know. I might paint that green. It was already green. I know. It's hard to decide. Like, who, what, where, why, right? Like, what do I want? I actually don't even see the flower tins and the sugar tins that I'm looking for very often when I'm out and about at auctions or anything. I've only ever seen one that I was like, saw in somebody's antique booth, which I'm sure it did not last there. And then I got my bucket list one at an auction that you guys will see coming up. But other than, even when you go to eBay and stuff, they're just the ones that I'm looking for are not, you can't just like, oh, I want that one, this one, this one. Nope. That's not how that works. Where they're at, I don't know. If they're in somebody's barn or somebody spray painted them. I was hoping that one that I took the the wallpaper off was going to. I'm like, I have to know what's underneath that wallpaper. You know, doesn't hurt to try. And there I go again. I forgot. Oh, I so am bad at this today. I can't remember. That's okay. It's okay. Whatever it does is what it does. And this is only my first coat, so I can try my acetone trick. Oh, geez. I don't know. I haven't mastered that quite yet. Gotta try sometime. And the nice thing about milk paint as I'm getting it on my shirt is it really does come off. I don't ruin as many clothes because it usually comes off in the laundry. Would it have been easier to spray paint these? Maybe. But it's really hard, as you saw in the milk can from previous video, it's hard to give character to spray paint. This one though, I am going to paint the lid, the cream. There again, trying to keep it off that rolled edge if I can. And I can go back and clean up. I think that's the exact color I was looking for though. I'm gonna do lantern. Nice and pigmented this is. So I know I'm gonna do 2 of these. Yeah, this Doll Meester brushes are so nice because they have that tip. That angle just helps. Oh, trying to make a decision like, okay, I think I'm doing this one black. Gonna leave that little knob. Though I'm, this whole purpose is to stack and I grabbed whatever, whatever tin I could find for under $8. And this was one of them. And they do stack. It's flat enough. I don't know if I can keep it off the blue or not. I tried to get it out of the blue. You don't know until you've done it. I was just kind of choosing the big ones to do flower on because, a lot of times the flower would have been the biggest ones. For some reason, this one's like ribbed, like where they bent it when they made it. I think for my green, I'm going to do pantry door and some in a pickle. I lose more scoops that way. You're like, where'd all my scoops go? Okay, so we're going to do, I think I'm going to do 3 pantry door, which this is a tablespoon, this is a teaspoon. I'm going to try 2 teaspoons in a pickle to brighten it up. And then I'm going to mix it up dry so I can, I'm gonna throw it all over like any mixer. Yeah, I think so hard, isn't it? Like decisions. Do I darken it just a little? I'm gonna do just a quarter of basil. See what that does. Okay, that deepened it just a little bit. And then remember, this is just regular tap water. It's room temperature, nothing terribly fancy. I just put it in a water bottle just because it's easier to pour out of. And then just mix it with the water, whatever consistency you're looking for. The directions say equal parts, but I don't have any luck with equal parts. And I do notice from paint to paint that everybody's a little bit different in their need of a water ratio. And since I'm not looking for this to run or chip too awful much, I don't want to mix it up too thick, but not too thin. This is the lid to the one, but I'm like, no, I'm not going to sit there and mix 3 colors is good, especially if I'm just doing a lid. Can you hear the sticky? So that's attracting it. And it's been hours. That's right, this one's got a little bit of a ring. Okay, my first coat is dry. I'm not going to worry about putting any beeswax back on there. It's going to be what it's going to be. But it definitely needs 2 coats. Yes, even with black, you do need 2 coats, especially when you're trying to get it thin. So 1 coat, not enough, especially when you're doing thin. Stir that. I already stirred that back up. I'm sitting. Unfortunately, I stirred it with my brush, so I got a lot of paint on my brush. Okay, my 2 coats are dry. There's definitely some cracking, but I'm going to sand it before sealing it in. So I just have some 220. I don't know like where I put the beeswax. If anything will even happen if I had enough on there. Taking a Clorox wipe, getting that area where I might have touched a little bit, because I want that little trim to not be full of paint. I think a little bit of it chipped off, but I wasn't really sure I was touching. If I had too much, would it spread on wood where the wax might soak in? It's just kind of laying on the, so. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and seal this in. Weather defense. I'm at my Cricut. I'm picking a few different fonts. I choose to usually try to find a thicker font. Now this one doesn't have, that is the vintage curve ball. but it doesn't have a swoosh. I do miss my Silhouette sometimes because my Silhouette had swooshes. I can't ever find them on here, but I want some decorative, so I'm just gonna go in and play. So I need 2 sugars and then 3 of the it's quite large when it prints out, and 3 of the flour. Talking and working at the same time. I like the swooshes, but it doesn't really connect very well. So if I try to do that, it just makes it bigger, which I don't know. I'll just play. Now I'm making sure that I'm using my semi-permanent vinyl. So it's not, you know, it's made to be removed, which is great for stencils. So this is the, what is it? The 531 or 631, and then the 651 is the permanent one. Like if you wanted to leave for sign making. I usually like to paint. It took me quite a while to realize there was 2 different types. And I always try to cut out as close to my vinyl as I can. Now this one I did a little curve for something a little different. I'll take scissors to cut it a little bit closer, maybe. Guess it doesn't matter either way, I'd have to tape it on. So I usually try to use the grid transfer tape. That way I can line up rather nicely. Okay, I want to find my seam, which is in the back. Try to keep that so that when I do the front, I'm centering it. We're just going to go for it. It doesn't have to be in the center. It can be up high. Does not really, as long as it just kind of stays straight where the grid. There again, the grid helps. And you will find that it's a little bit more pulley-uppy because of it being, you know, not permanent. But that's okay. Because I always, the painter's tape, use so close to my letters. So if you notice, a lot of times they're not like, it's not black and white. It's not, you know, they're a little bit off colored. So I'm actually going to use this black gold and see. I tested a different one, but I did not like that one. And then I'm just going to do a stencil brush. And we'll see how much of that gets on there. I might take 2 coats. Try a little bit of the Rub and Buff over it, the gold leaf. Not quite as gold as I thought it would be. There we go. It's more black than the sample showed. I'm actually going to use a little bit of decrepit dust. You know me, I never know when enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm going to take a little bit of Weather Defense over the and then give that a second to dry. Like I said, I don't want it to sit on awfully long. I might have to heat it up a little bit because it is taking some of the paint off. The nice thing about doing distress when it lifted off the paint, you don't have to stress about it because you were looking for age anyway. I like that color. Except before sanding it or anything, I'm just going to let it dry a little bit more. I just needed to get that vinyl off. The black first. And then we'll do a little gold rub and buff. And on top of that, I will do the decrepit dust spray. Okay, I think I'm still gonna just go with what I've been doing. I don't want it to be black, so. I just played with fonts and then I played with big fonts because that's easier to see and you don't have to weed the little bitty pieces. Try to do a couple little designs just for fun. Rub and buff. I may do some more of the decrepit dust because I'm liking how that's turning out. We'll see. I just don't want it to be, you know, sometimes it's raised, like when you're using paint, even spray paint will leave it a little bit. I know a lot of people like to go over with, since I did this black, but every time you put another coat, it makes it even thicker. So I think I'm just going to, I don't know, let's see how this works. Just a little bit, not maybe as much as the other. So it's not so goldy. It just gives it a little age. I'm not going to pour it out this time. I want it to be a little bit golder than the other one. And then dust it off. And then when I'm sanding this, the black will come up a little bit. You'll see a little bit of the brown. And then respray them on. Now my green one, I just think, oh my gosh, it looks so newly painted. Even with the distressing. So, and a little bit of, oh, where is it? A little bit of Fusion's aging wax will probably make me happy. I love all of them, but I'm like, oh, this one needs a little bit more. It needs a little bit more. And then I'm doing a little bit of antiquing wax. I just wanted to get in those crevices. I already did it on the lid. Not a ton. I'm just using the rag that I used. You know, these wouldn't have been clean. I have to say, probably my favorite are the white. My least favorite is probably the green. I hate to say that. And I love the black. And I don't know if it's because of the font. I was just matching up some fonts that I'd taken the pictures of what she had. And of course I wanted to throw my signature green in there, but the wax just helps the lid go on and off easier too. Oh yeah. Like I see. I just wanted something different. But I really do like that. I really do like that white. That's okay. I'm one of those people like, oh, if I don't wax, am I really done? But that actually the wax helps it go on, the lid go on and off easier, even though, like I said, easier for myself. could always repaint someday for the green. That's okay. Probably not anytime soon. Antiquing paste. I wasn't loving it. Too newy green. Green canister. This is just the lid to the sugar. I like that better. See? I don't even know if you can tell the difference. It's just a little bit more not so freshly newly painted. I think that's my problem with it. It doesn't have enough dirt. Aging wax just didn't give it enough dirt. I'm gonna add some more dirt. This has almost got a red hue to it. You know how that is. You look in your arsenal and see what you have.